Spider-Man 2. Nope. Not that Spider-Man 2. Not that Spider-Man 2 either. It's also not that Spider-Man 2. Nope. Not that Spider-Man 2. You'd think it's that Spider-Man 2, but it's not that Spider-Man 2. The Spider-Man 2 we are interested in today is the 2004 movie adaptation video game, released on all the major consoles at the time, PlayStation 2, Xbox, GameCube. Welcome to a series I call Strategy Guide Storm. I'm SloppiMoppi, and we are not going to look at the video game Spider-Man 2, but rather the strategy guide for Spider-Man 2. If you don't know what a strategy guide is, that's okay. Basically, in the pre-internet days, if you needed information about a video game, and you couldn't just hop onto Google and see what was going on because maybe your little sister was playing Zoo Tycoon, and you had to set the timer for 30 minutes before it was your turn to get on the computer, you needed one of these bad boys right here. They used to be like the holy grail of information for games, and the internet has more or less made this defunct. So I'm putting together this series called Strategy Guide Storm to kind of look through and see what it was like to experience the game through the lens of the strategy guide. Because there's a lot of good stuff. You kind of got a feel of a game without ever actually having to play the game. So if you were like me and your mom discovered that these things were only about 15-20 bucks, whereas a new video game was 50 to 60, plus you were reading, which is, you know, gold for a mom, where we are looking at the printed material. So join me, won't you, in SloppiMoppi's reading video games. So front cover, pretty much ubiquitous to the movie cover, the movie poster as well. Not surprising, this being a tie-in game to a movie. But you get your nice little Sam Raimi raised netting there. You get Dr. Octopus. Check on the back here, we can see what is promised inside the strategy guide. We are going to get highly detailed New York City maps. I don't know if this would still hold up in this day and age, but maybe if you want to take a vacation, you can hit up some buoy tokens if you feel like that. A comprehensive walkthrough, which, I mean, you know, what you would get these games for, especially if you got stuck. But you can go through and see what it was like to play the game or what sort of adventure Spidey would go on. Expert boss tactics, learn how to defeat every despicable foe. There's an exclusive two-sided poster, gripping Spider-Man art, and a complete city map, which I guess would be, you know, better than the itty-bitty guy here, but spoiler alert, this was the remnants of the complete city map. We are not going to get to enjoy the complete city map. Bonus coverage, every volunteer mission, thwart petty crime, and a mini walkthrough of Spider-Man 2 for the PC, which is something that I didn't know about. It looks like there is extra levels or extra content exclusive to the PC version, intriguing character bios, every combat and locomotion upgrade, and much, much more. We're not going to go through page by page here. There's some real interesting nuggets or some real interesting gems. You get your typical table of contents as most books tend to start with. There's an intro, cast of characters, superhero training, probably a breakdown of the moves. Hero's work is never done, voluntary missions. So like your checklist for your collectibles, your side options. Pizza missions, mamma mia. Mary Jane missions. I'm going to be referring to the Insomniac Spider-Man games quite a bit too, because it's early October and the game, new one, Spider-Man 2 is about to drop here shortly. Call the walkthrough a swing through on account of this being Spider-Man. There are secrets in the mini walkthrough, which was the PC only exclusive thing there. So let's see what's going on. You get your introduction, Peter Parker student, Busy Boy, Mary Jane, yada yada, basic Spider-Man stuff. And then you get the man himself kind of dangling there. And then as we're kind of getting into the guide itself, I really liked all of the design choices in the guide. So like you can see up top here, they've got these lovely like row of headers to know which section you're in. You can see the introduction is highlighted, the hero's way, which is like I think the collectibles swing through, because this is Spider-Man, he ain't walking. So starting off here, we get our cast of characters in case you don't know who Spider-Man is. Is that Tobey Maguire is the real question. He could be. They got a lot of the same cast for this game, at least according to the Wikipedia article that I'm pulling up here. So it looks like 2004 video game era Tobey Maguire, if that was a thing. Nice and blocky, a little chunky on the side too, which, you know, everyone loves. Mary Jane Watson. Harry Osborn. That is kind of tuna can scrunched up version of James Franco I ever did saw. Father was the Green Goblin TM. Black Cat. She was not in the movies, but she's pretty indicative of any Spider-Man thing. If I could hazard a guess, we'll probably get some side quests, and also because she's a lady and we need to have ladies in video games for the fellas. I really like the designs of all of the villains here. Mysterio in particular, it looks great. The weird almost third eye, and then there's 2 eyes. Man's got too many eyes. Claws for some reason too. And then you got the rhino here, whose textures seem to be a little bit all over the place, but hey, it's 2004, guys. The fact that this is recognizable as the rhino alone. These are both Mysterio, Quentin so that makes sense why there's eyes there. But I mean, his outfit's got 2 different eye sets, so hey, good for him. Dr. Octopus makes his appearance. Now that's Alfred Molina, if ever there was, thank goodness. And the Shocker. Shocker looks a little surprised that something's going on there. All these side characters, J. Jonah Jameson, there's Dr. Octavius, Dr. Connor, they all look pretty much like their movie counterparts. Next section goes over to superhero training. It starts with the movement, how you run, you jump. So we get the training section here, breaking down how he moves. These are like the move upgrades, it looks like, which, you know, as without having the game in front of you, these would always be fun to read through and be like, oh man, what if I could do a cannonball kick like Spider-Man does? Don't worry, I just gotta press the attack button, I'll swing and I'll execute to get multiple enemies. Ah, dang, I really need those 500 hero points before I can pull this off though. It looks like, again, we're comparing back to the newest Spider-Man game. Here we have hero points, tokens, icons, and more. It looks like Spider-Man really doesn't change much as far as the upgrades go, and they thought, let's just throw some tokens in here, baby. So you know Spider-Man is not just always constantly beating up the Shocker, as you might be shocked to hear. He just helps folks, and looks like there are little side missions of citizens in distress, robberies, officer carjacking, ambush, dang, aliens and or armored, petty crimes, purse snatcher, lost balloon. I don't think these are the same degrees of crimes. Like, you can't go to jail for losing a balloon. If you do, you've done something terrible with that balloon. Pizza missions. I think every mission should be a pizza mission deep down, especially if in New York and you get the spider. You can help Mr. Aziz, the same Mr. Aziz, I think from the movie. The photo missions, just because, you know, Spider-Man takes photos. Guides like this love their tables. I don't know who was 12 years old trying to figure out which Spider-Man challenge number 82 in Midtown looked like, but you just got a web swing across the arcade. So, hey, that information's there if you need it, thank goodness. Heavy on the tokens. I guess they're just floating icons that you need to go find and you can level it up. Call it a token. There's an awards, which almost looks like an achievement system. You get all the pizza deliveries, you get some bonus hero points to upgrade your guy. Achievements before achievements in 2004, so you'd actually get stuff in the game. Here is the proper walkthrough itself. So it looks like most of the time you got these cool little headers about what's happening, about like your goal list, objectives, little state of the story, which are always fun in like these guides, because again, if you didn't get to play the game and you couldn't just watch a let's play on YouTube, having these little heads up and then seeing the screenshots and seeing what was going on was a great way to experience what the game was like without ever actually having to own the game. And if you did have the game, I don't know if anyone would really need to know how to get instructions on how to move, because it's the tutorial of the game. Still at least half experience what the game was like just by reading through it. And another great part of these guides is just getting to see the cool renders. So like some of these thugs, some of these villains here, like without pausing the game or going through the screenshots, you get a good vibe of like who the characters look like. Screenshots look like they sure were just taken with like a photo. like a digital camera taking a picture of a CRT screen. It gets a little wavy JV. Pizza missions. He is not just, he is also a pizza delivery boy and a freelance photographer. So man of many masked hats. And there's another sexy black cat. Just the exact same image, because they probably only had a certain number of JPEGs they could throw on this guide here. That is Black Cat number 1, who is not in any of the movies, if I recall right. What a way to spend one's birthday! Dinner was great! Mamma mia, oh, what a day. A great hallmark of guides were just kind of the boss battle showcase. There's like a menacing feeling too when you were just thumbing through this and you were like, okay, Spider-Man delivers this, Spider-Man delivers that, and then suddenly you get to deal with like, oh man, we're gonna have just some problems here with this character. Oh, I love the shoulders. You can count each individual pixel. There's these, I believe, second. Something about this image unsettles me. Something just isn't quite right there. That's the problem, but I don't know what that problem is. I don't think humans should look like that. I wish my desk looked like that. Just 5 mysterious boxes, 3rd or 4th Black Cat JPEG. But then seeing Spider-Man riding a car with a truck bed that's probably 4 or 5 times larger than it really should be. You get your dripped out Mysterio again. Man, I don't know. I love this Mysterio design. I have vague memories of this But like the claws, the eyes, it looks rad. You get to see some of the cool enemies that, because without like, if you had limited time to play games and you didn't have immediate access to everything too, you used to let your imagination run wild, just imagining how this dude built that. I mean, it fits his aesthetic and design pretty nice. There's a whole universe, a whole new adventure that Spider-Man and his friends can go on. Having this in your hands in the backseat of a car, some of these bosses and seeing some of the cool strategies, like these dang Star Fox face coming after our guy here. Once we finally hit chapter 10 is when you kind of get the actual plot of Spider-Man 2, the movie 2004, where you see these CG PS2. Hold your eyes and squint. That could be a screenshot from the film. And you look down and you see that mouth without any teeth. That's definitely a video game. Do a lot of their best approximations for some of these things too, and then trying to put sequences of, like, for example, you know, Spider-Man was it makes more sense in the movie just to watch it happen, but in a video game you gotta chase colored wires because it's a video game and you can't just watch something happen. I don't know which character this very thick Larry David George Costanza looking guy might be, but it looks generic banker. Ah, look, another Black Cat pinup. Yeah, the exact same pose, the exact same image. Oh, finally we get the shocker fight all the way into chapter 10. Shocked is the right word for this man's expression right now. Another hallmark of the physical printout too is you get things like the dog-eared. Maybe our guy that first had this game had some real problems with the shocker and he said, man, I gotta go back and check this here. Oh, and there's a second shocker fight. Same shocked expression. This man just looks like an action figure, inside a box, inside a square thing. As the game wraps up, you fight Dr. Octopus. They always do these fun little things too. Shout out to all the authors that throw these guides together, because they want you to both play the game, but also know the story. So if you didn't have the game, these little like to be continued ... sections, they'd be fun, but you'd still want to play the game after going through the guides. And we have that cool mini walkthrough. It looks like but it's interesting that they have to throw in like the WASD setup too in the spacebar in case you don't know how to play on a PC. Going from GameCube to PC, you gotta know where to control your guy. A few extra bonus missions, the Rhino escaping, Doc goes to the bank. Puma attacks. Who's Puma? Because Puma's a Spider-Man character only available in the PC version. Good for him. So it looks like you just get a few extra like showcase missions with the final bosses or the bosses in the game itself exclusive to the PC, which sure, why not? I had no idea and I wouldn't have known this unless I thumbed through the guide. So as we are wrapping up through the guide here, we always get the author acknowledgements, and about the author, shout out to Doug Walsh. Hope you had a good day, Doug Walsh, and I appreciate you putting this guide together. This has been a walkthrough of the walkthrough. Tell me what you guys liked. Tell me what you guys didn't like. Want to make interesting, good content, showcase some of these older, now outdated, out of practice things. So I appreciate you taking the time to watch. If it could be more entertaining, please let me know.